Every night at exactly 11:30 p.m., Grace Johnson would kneel beside her old wooden bed and pray for her son. For 3 years, her only child, Michael Johnson, had been trapped in addiction. The once bright young man who loved singing in church had changed completely. His eyes became heavy and empty. Money disappeared from the house. Neighbors whispered whenever they saw him staggering through the street. But no matter what happened, Grace never stopped believing God could restore him. People told her to give up. "Your son is gone," one woman said. "He will never change," another whispered. Even Michael had stopped believing in himself. Some nights he came home angry. Some nights he never came home at all. Yet every night, Grace prayed the same prayer. "Lord, bring my son back to life again." One rainy evening, Michael stormed into the house, shaking violently. "I need money," he shouted. Grace looked at him with tears in her eyes. "I don't have money, son, but I still have prayer." Michael screamed in frustration and pushed a chair across the room before running back into the storm. That night was different. Grace stayed awake, praying until nearly dawn. Her voice became weak, but she continued whispering, "God, wherever my son is tonight, please save him." Meanwhile, Michael wandered alone near an abandoned building at the edge of town. Rain poured heavily. Thunder shook the sky. Suddenly, he collapsed to the ground, trembling. Then something happened he could never explain. In the middle of the storm, he heard his mother praying. Not physically beside him, but clearly. "Lord, don't let my son die." Michael opened his eyes in fear. The words echoed again. "Bring him back to life." At that moment, something inside him broke. For the first time in years, he began to cry. Not from pain, not from fear, but from conviction. He remembered the little church he grew up in. He remembered his mother holding his hands and teaching him how to pray. And there in the rain, lying on the cold ground, Michael whispered, "God, if you are real, help me." The next morning, Grace heard a knock on the door. When she opened it, Michael stood there shaking, soaked from the rain, tears running down his face. "Mama," he said quietly, "I want my life back." Grace fell to her knees crying. She hugged him tightly as both of them wept at the doorway. Recovery was not instant. There were hard days, struggles, and healing. But Michael was never the same after that night. Months later, he returned to church. Then he started helping other young people fighting addiction. One Sunday, he stood before the congregation and said, "I am alive today because my mother refused to stop praying for me." And in the front row, Grace smiled through tears, knowing that heaven had heard every midnight prayer. No matter how difficult things may become, never give up on your children. There is power in a praying mother, and there is no situation too broken for God to restore. Keep praying, keep believing, keep standing in faith even when you cannot see immediate change. Prayer can turn pain into healing, addiction into freedom, and hopelessness into testimony. Sometimes the miracle begins the moment a mother refuses to stop praying. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful, faith-filled stories. And if you're praying for a child or loved one today, type "God is still working miracles."